Welcome to Tech Brothers. In this video, I'm going to show you how to install Active Directory domain services on Windows 2012 Server R2. I have already created one virtual machine using Hyper-V, and we're gonna use that machine to create a domain. We're gonna make that machine as domain controller. So if you look at here, this is my Hyper-V environment and this is my virtual machine. This is the virtual machine we're going to use in this demo, and we're going to convert this machine into a domain controller. Before we go ahead and install Active Directory domain services on this machine, a few things I would like to mention I have written down here. These are really important things, but some of them are optional, but on a longer run they will be helpful if you follow these instructions. So in order to install for Active Directory domain services, the first thing we need to do is change computer name. If you haven't changed your computer name to a meaningful name, you need to do that, because the reason is when you create a virtual machine, the computer name is really weird, and it puts a lot of unmeaningful characters in there. So that's what I'm gonna show you how to do that. And second thing is I'm gonna go ahead, for this demo purposes only, turn off the user access control. What it does is, if you keep the user access as it's in as it is by default in Windows 2012, it'll ask you for every little action you do on Windows 2012 server, that whether you want to do it or not. It's kind of annoying. Only for demo purposes I just went ahead and actually I will show you how to turn it off. I probably didn't do that either, just because I wanted to show this that in this demo. The third thing that you want to do is create another user beside domain, beside administrator, because that user, we can use it to add in domain admin and use that going forward. The fourth thing we wanted to do, this is optional right here, and this is optional as well, but this is highly recommended, and this is completely optional, but you would see that why it's optional and why it's important. So give your machine a static IP rather than DHCP setting. Just briefly tell you that why it's important. Let's say that you left it on DHCP setting, your domain controller, and for some reason it's being restarted, and your system administrator, or for some reason that IP is taken. That can create a lot of issues of IP conflict. And after we install Active Directory domain services, a couple things very important that I would like you to do. Sometimes what happens is when the video is ending and everything is installed, folks will go ahead and turn off the video. But this is very important. That's why I'm putting it in the beginning. Create a forward lookup zone. What forward lookup zone does is, when you add any machine, this is before adding any machine to your DNS. So when you add any machine, what it does is that it resolves to the static IP of that machine. If anybody is trying to resolve host name, the DNS will convert that into IP resolution, just for internet or intranet purposes. And the second thing does completely reverse. If somebody is looking have an IP and looking for host name, if you don't have a reverse lookup zone, it might not be able to resolve that. So these couple things, they are really important. That's why I wanted to mention it before we get into real work. So let's go ahead and install Active Directory domain services. Here's my machine. Let's go ahead and log in. Right now I did not create any user, so administrator is the only one that I have. So I'm logging in right now. So we're gonna follow this. Let me make it a little smaller right here. So first thing we're gonna do is change the computer name, which is when you click on start, right click on computer, go to properties, change. As you can see right now, the name of the computer is really weird. It'll be hard to remember. So since this is going to be a domain controller, so I'm going to give a meaningful name, Tech Brothers DC domain controller. And if you click on change up here, that was the description. This is where we're going to change the name, and you can see that it's not connected to any domain. There's no domain installed in this computer. So we're gonna go ahead and say Tech Brothers DC, same thing. Click OK. And it's gonna require a restart of the computer. So I'm gonna go ahead and restart the computer now and pause the video. And as soon as computer restarts, I'll come back to the video and we will start installation of Active Directory Domain Services. Click OK, apply, go ahead, restart now. Alright, our computer is restarted, so we're ready to sign in again. I'm going to give the password and sign in to this computer. Alright, the second thing we need to do is turn off the UAC setting. So I'll go ahead and click in here and find the UAC. If you click user and hit enter, it will give you option of user access control. So user accounts, change user account control setting, click on that and see it's a little bit above medium, so we're gonna go ahead and turn it off just for this demo purposes. Click OK and close that. That's completed. The third thing that we the fourth thing, matter of fact, we need to do is create the static IP of this machine. So if you right click on the network and open network and sharing center and click on change adapter settings, you will see that you go to properties and go to TCP/IPv4. Click on properties. As you can see right now, it's DHCP setting. Obtain the IP address automatically and DNS as well. So we're gonna go ahead and give the static IP. This IP, make sure that's available in your network. It's not being used by any other machine. 168.1, and I'm going to give it 35. Subnet mask comes along, so here's my default gateway. If you don't know what your default gateway is, I have put another video how to find that out. Please browse that video. 1.2.54. So, and my DNS, since we don't have the DNS right now, so we have to put our IP provider DNS right here. By the way, this IP provider DNS is also is a advanced setting of in DNS. This will keep changing. This was just assigned to me, and it is assigned for just 1 hour for this demo purposes. And then once it's changed, then I'll be actually switching it to our DNS that we will create right here. So click OK, close. Make sure that you have internet connectivity before you move further. Okay, so as you can see that internet access is there, so close that. Alright, since we have completed all the 4 things that we wanted to do it prior to the installation, so let's go ahead and do the installation. Click Add Roles and Features. Click Next. It is roles based or feature based installation, so we're going to keep that and click Next. And this is the server name that we wanted to install this feature on, so click Next. Here's the Active Directory services that you can install. What we're going to do in this demo is Active Directory domain services. So we're going to click that. As soon as we'll click it, it'll show you what tools it's going to install. Right here are the summary of the tools that it's going to install with this. So go ahead and click Add Features. Click Next. Right here, as you can see, that .NET Framework 3.5 features 1 is installed out of 3. I have installed 1 already for another demo. So what we're gonna do is, this is very important for a lot of softwares, not just for Active Directory, but a lot of other softwares to work properly, because it combines the power of .NET Framework 2.0 and 3.0 together. So we're gonna go ahead and install rest of the HTTP and non-HTTP activation features as well. So go ahead, click Add Features, click Next, and click Next. This web server role IIS services will add more feature to the IIS later on, but for now, for this demo, installing Active Directory domain services, this is plenty. So we're going to go ahead and just click on web server and click Next. You have an option to restart the destination server. Destination server means this server once these tools are installed, but we're not going to click onto that, but we may need to install any other feature. Then we're going to go ahead and install that feature and then restart the computer altogether. So go ahead and click Install. It's going to take some time, so what I'm going to do is pause the video. Once the installation is completed, if I see any issue, I'll share with you, and also the resolution. But I'm going to go ahead and pause the video, and I'll come back once the installation is successful. Alright, as you can see that configuration required for this installation is completed, and we're going to go ahead and close. The next thing we're going to do, if you can see this little yellow thing right here, in Windows 2008 R2 or 2008, what we used to do in order to install the DNS services, we used to use a command dcpromo. But in Windows 2012 R2, it's much nicer. You can click on this little yellow thing and it'll say to promote this computer to a domain controller. So you're going to click onto that. This is what this is going to do, is install your domain network services. So click on that. What we're going to do in this demo is add a new forest. You have an option to add a domain controller to an existing domain, or add a new domain to an existing forest, but since we don't have both, so we're going to go ahead and add a new forest. Forest needs to be there before you install the DNS, so click on that, and here you need to give the root domain name. I'm going to do techbrothers.local. So click Next. The forest function level, you can choose it from here, whether it's 2008, 2000 R2, 2012, or 2012 R2. We're gonna keep it 2012 R2 since this is this demo represents the operating system of 2012 R2. So we're gonna go ahead and give the password. Make sure it's strong, and make sure you remember that and put it in a safe place, because if you need to restore your Active Directory or DNS, you need this password. Click next. Next thing is going to ask you that a delegation for this DNS server cannot be created because the parent zone is not created. Since we haven't added this server into an existing domain, we haven't created the zones that we're going to go ahead and create the zone after the installation of DNS is finished. So go ahead and click next. This NetBIOS domain name is gonna actually get it from your forest. You have an option to change it, but I wouldn't change it. I'm gonna keep it the same way. So click next. These are the locations of your Active Directory domain services database. So you have an option. I wouldn't keep it on C, but for this demo purposes I don't have any other drive but C, so you can change that. These things needed in order to restore the domain services, Active Directory domain services, just so that you know in your organization if that time comes. So click next. If you can, this is the summary. If you click on view script, this is the script behind the scene is going to run to do all that for us. You can copy this script, and if you need to create another one, another domain controller, and you wanted to use the PowerShell, then you can save this script and use this script to do all that. And you can change all this, you know, your domain NetBIOS name and your domain name and forest name, etc. So we're going to go ahead and click next. It's going to check the prereq before installing Active Directory domain services. So we'll let it check it. So all the prereq are completed successfully. A few warnings here. If you're doing a production installation and you're going to use this domain in your organization production domain, I wouldn't worry about much on Windows NT 4.0, but if you have a legacy system, that you need to worry about that. The next thing is that it's telling us that we don't have the lookup zones, so it's okay because we're going to create later on. Rest everything looks good. If you didn't have the static IP up here, that warning would appear here, that this machine has a network but not the static IP. So go ahead, and I'm gonna go ahead and click install. It's gonna take some time, so I will go ahead and pause the video. If there is any issue, I'll go ahead and share with you and the resolution to those issues. Alright, as you can see that operation completed successfully. We have installed successfully Active Directory domain, and it needs restart. So we're gonna go ahead and close this, and it's gonna restart the computer. It's not gonna take long to restart since it's a virtual machine. In the beginning, actually, I forgot to do the step 3, which is create another user that can be the domain admin. Right now, once this restart is completed, we're gonna go ahead and log in with administrator and create another user, and put that user in domain controller, and then I'll show you that we can use that user in order to log into this machine. Alright, as you can see that computer is restarted, so we're going to go ahead and log in as administrator. I'm going to go ahead and complete the step 3 right here, and then we're going to go ahead and complete these 2 steps, the post installation steps. So I'll click here, go to user, and if you see, this Active Directory is installed successfully, and it's giving us the menu that you can go ahead and create users in Active Directory. So if you look at here, this is the administrator users, and we have a group administrator that has all the users as well. So we're gonna go ahead and complete the step 3. So we're gonna click on new user, and we're gonna call it Tech Brother DC admin. This is just demo purposes. Believe me, this is not a good name. I'm gonna go ahead and click next. For this, we're not gonna ask that change the password next time. So, and we don't want anybody to change the password for this account either. So we're gonna go ahead and click both of these and click next. I'm sorry, let me put the password here. If you create this user in the beginning and put it in administrator, you don't have to put it in domain admin, because the administrator group is part of domain admin in this demo. So just so that you know, click next. Finish. Alright, so if you look at here, this is the domain users. We need to find domain admins group, so we're gonna click on that and look at the members. If you can see it right here, the administrator is part of the domain admin. So click add, and we're gonna go ahead and do Tech Brother TB, maybe check on that, Tech Brother admin, and we're gonna go ahead and add it in domain admin. So this is how you add any user to be a domain admin. Just be careful about that, because in an organization you have to be really careful to have anybody be a domain admin, because they can make a lot of changes and it can bring your network down. So click OK. So we're good on that. So okay, let's go ahead and do the post installation steps. So we're gonna click on tools, go in DNS, if you look at here in DNS, we have a forward lookup zone and we have a reverse lookup zone. So click on forward lookup zone. Right here is what's created. Actually, you can leave the forward lookup zone just like this, because it'll use as long as you do it as local. But if you add a machine, you always have to put .local into it, which I don't really mind for this demo purposes. But if you don't want this .local into it, you need to right click on forward lookup zone and create new zone and make it primary zone, and then to all DNS servers on domain can connect to this, and you can click next and give the domain name without .local, and then all they need to do is when they add a machine to this domain, they don't need to put .local into it. So I'm gonna go ahead and cancel this and not create this, but excuse me, but reverse zone we do need to create one new reverse zone. So we're gonna keep it primary reverse zone. So we're gonna keep the same way. Yes, we're gonna keep it IPv4 reverse lookup zone, because mostly organizations are not using IPv6. Sometimes this is mostly used, IPv4 reverse lookup zone. So go ahead and click next, and we're gonna go ahead and create 116.8.1. Here you have an option to make it as secure as you want to. So click next, finish. So this is our reverse lookup zone. Any entry that will be created in forward lookup zone will be created in reverse lookup zone. So anytime a person will try to find a host name of an IP, the queries will come to reverse lookup zone, and it'll give that person a host name. So alright, we have completed the installation of Active Directory domain services. I would put it in two parts, this installation. One is Active Directory, and the other is DNS domain network services. So we have completed both in this video. I hope you like this video. Please stay tuned for the further videos from Tech Brothers.